And this is the Independence Hall right here. Since I'm not sure if I recorded a couple seconds ago, I'm gonna show you again the Liberty Bell. Right past this glass here. In the middle here is the Independence Hall. You're looking at right here. To the left is Old City Hall. That's that building. And then all the way to the right is the Congress Hall. The Declaration of Independence was adopted by the Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776, but the actual signing by the delegates occurred on August 2nd, 1776, in this building here. Therefore, it is considered the birthplace of the United States. Tickets to Independence Hall are very hard to get if you visit Philadelphia between March and December. All the tickets are free, but you have to reserve them for a specific time, and there's really poor availability. The other option is to visit Independence Hall during something called open house. Between 9 and 9:50 a.m. you can show up, and then you don't have to have tickets. However, there's going to be a long line, so I recommend coming there really early. So it was impossible to get tickets for this place. I think it's because it's summer. 4th of July is coming. So you could like reserve the tickets here. But we couldn't get them. Then you get random mails that there are some tickets available, but by the time you log in, the tickets are gone. Barry was the guy who worked for drug cartels smuggling drugs. That was a movie with what's his face? Commodore John Barry, father of the Navy of the United States. Why would they have his description of who it is in the back? That's just kind of silly. Should have it in the front. Let's go this way first. So that's where they signed
This is where they signed both the Declaration and the Constitution.
Thank you.
Sure. I mean, it's the assembly room, so it's where they sign both the Declaration and the Constitution. It's set up for our interpretation of what the Constitutional Convention would have looked like. We have no knowledge of the Declaration. Looking at period antique pieces on the tables. The chairs are reproductions, the tables are reproductions. The only original object we have in the space from the convention is the Rising Sun chair, which is the big chair in the back. George Washington sat in that chair during the convention.
The building will serve as the capital building of the colony and then the state of Pennsylvania, as long as Philadelphia is the capital city. But then in 1799, the government of Pennsylvania moves west. Today, the capital of Pennsylvania is Harrisburg, which is sort of in the middle of the state. So this area continues to be a courtroom. Over there, they'll rent that out to an artist for his artist studio. And in 1824, when the Marquis de Lafayette comes to visit, they will start to prepare for the visit, and they'll start to call that room the Hall of Independence. And somebody says, hey, that's a pretty cool nickname, don't you think? And maybe we should start to preserve it. So that portion of the building will start to be preserved. The rest of the building will still be used as a functioning courthouse. And then in the 1890s, an organization called the Ladies of Independence get involved. And they're the ones who spearhead turning this whole thing into a museum. Yeah.
We're inside Congress Hall.
If you have any questions, you can't speak unless you ask me a question. Added, but this rug only shows you 13 states.
Okay.
Okay? Because it was done before the other three were added in.
So there were like 26 senators on it. or 32.
At the start.
Yeah. That's why the room is kind of small. I think that's way nicer than the one downstairs.
Right? It is.
Okay, we're down in the Independence Hall. Again, this is all the way at the end is City Hall. There was the Independence Hall, and that's a Congress Hall. Congress Hall is actually really pretty cool. I'm glad you got to go inside. It appears that this is Washington. They're standing in front of the building that the whole thing started. Where the Constitution was signed, where the Declaration was signed. As you can see, kind of a significant building, huh?
And probably you didn't even know, so probably that made the crack to expand more. Because later there were organizations in the city telling the governor and the mayor
Wait,
not to
so
permit
that was on top of
transported because
that building, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the Liberty Bell that supposedly was ringing for 90 years.
the bell
And it was on top of this Independence Hall right there. Where the Constitution and Declaration were signed.
Oh, they stamp their name. They make it sure everybody knows who made
Bigger,
this
it's
bell.
like about the same size as the French club.
Uh-huh. Yes, indeed, yeah.
And that was the thing. They have like a big exhibit trying.